In yesterday's video, we successfully escorted Sticky from Little Lamplight to Big Town, only to discover upon arrival that Big Town has been under constant siege by super mutants and slavers, both of which either kill them or kidnap them and drag them off to God knows where. Sticky told us that his girlfriend Red, who lived at the town, would pay us for the escort. However, we discovered that she had recently been kidnapped by super mutants in a raid. So if we want to get paid, we have to rescue Red. The residents of Big Town didn't really know where the super mutants were coming from, but they said the best location to look for them was to follow the road north out of Big Town and search for the Germantown police headquarters. There, we did indeed find super mutants, and after reading a little pre-war lore, we found a doorway in the ruins of the second floor that allowed us inside. Once inside, if we're quiet, we can overhear a conversation between two super mutants.
We need to get more. I know, but we got through here still. The female is locked up. We'll take her back with us. The tiny male is downstairs. He won't be coming with us, will he? Nope. We almost got all those little people from Big Town, huh? What then? Find more somewhere else. Yeah, those bleeders are everywhere. We'll get them all. Take them home. Yeah, we need more prisoners before we can go home. We'll go back and get more soon.
If you're gonna talk, talk! I was just wondering, what are you doing? Something good? Something fun? Me, I'm bored. Need somebody to kill? Or something to eat? Huh? What are you? Some kind of human? Why you care? Shut up and go away. Forget it. You too dumb to talk to.
Did one kill the other? Creeping slowly into the room, no, we see that both are still standing, so we can give Sharon and Dogmeat the go-ahead to tear them apart. But these appear to be the only ones on this floor, so with the threat gone, we can take some time to explore. Heading back to the door where we entered, we can go through the first door to the south. But almost immediately... Oh great, so this floor is booby-trapped. We'll have to keep our eyes open. The mine was right next to this desk, upon which is the impound information terminal, locked with a very hard lock. If our science skill is high enough, we can hack the sucker, whereupon we discover that many of the entries inside are corrupted. However, two remain. The first is case 43027, Department Recovery. Vehicle ID, blah blah blah. Owner, Danielle Fay. Offenses, abandoned car, and other, not yet confirmed. Notes. Car found along highway with burnt-out engine. It appears to have been stolen and taken on a joyride, and matches description of cars in a variety of recent out-of-state traffic offenses. When recovered, the car's contents included 2 pairs of pliers, 1 Canadian flag, assorted theatrical costumes, 4 bottles of tequila, empty, 1 pool cue, broken, and 4 garden gnomes, strapped to front bumper. Owner reported car stolen 4 days prior, but her story has many inconsistencies. Bring Miss Fay in for further questioning. What an interesting description. The Canadian flag leads me to believe that perhaps Danielle here was a Canadian citizen who was involved in some sort of protest against the recent American annexation of Canada. The theatrical costumes could have been used to commit crimes incognito, attack the military or the police, spray paint anti-American slogans, and perhaps the garden gnomes strapped to the bumper were meant to prevent the car from sustaining damage when used as a battering ram. She could have listed the car as stolen ahead of time, just in case it was ever recovered, so that she could simply say, well, I didn't do these things, it was whomever stole the car. More evidence that I think supports this is if we head to the Foggy Bottom station, we find a book underneath one of the benches labeled Danielle's Book. We sadly can't read it. It has been too burnt and corroded by time. But perhaps this was Danielle's diary. And to find it here in this metro station could mean that she was on the run. After all, the police terminal said that they wanted to bring her in for questioning. Perhaps she anticipated that move and fled. Unless, of course, this is one giant reference to a movie or something that I just don't understand. In the next one, 45602... Department in town, vehicle ID, blah, 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 blah. Owner, Jenny Wilkins. Offenses, 4 parking tickets, unpaid. Notes. During tow, the perp entered into a screaming match with the driver, claiming presence of an infant in the vehicle. Upon further inspection after the tow, her baby was indeed in the back seat. We've since moved the child into the lost and found, and are holding it until Mrs. Wilkins pays impound fines and retrieves her automobile. What? Oh, gosh. Oh, this is absolutely horrible. Please tell me we don't find the remains of this kid in some lost and found section. Oh. After looting the various containers in this room, we could go back the way we came, or we could exit through a doorway to the east. This leads to a hallway that brings us back to where we were, so it just does a big loop. To the left is a doorway leading to the room where we killed those super mutants, and to the right is a closed door leading to some sort of police lab. We see broken computers, microfilm readers, and chemistry equipment on many of the tables. There's an ammo container under one of the tables, and the floor is booby-trapped. Whew, got to it just in time. With this room explored, we can exit out a door to the east. We arrive in a hallway with a skeleton on the ground. Instead of exploring the rooms to the east, we'll head back west to finish exploring the room where we killed those super mutants. After looting a first aid kit on the wall, we can loot the bodies on the floor and the various desks and other containers. A great opportunity to make use of the Scrounger perk. We can disarm a shotgun trap on a desk. This was already triggered by the kerfluffle that happened earlier. And we find a safe to the southeast. Also booby-trapped, but all we find in it are ruined books. With this room explored, we can head out a door to the east, which brings us out to a hallway that loops back to the junction that allows us to explore the eastern side of the building. Going down the hallway in the middle, we'll explore the room to the left. After disarming another frag mine, we appear in some sort of conference room. There's a first aid box on the conference table, some medics, and a copy of DC Journal of Medicine. And a lot of big, beautiful leather chairs, but not much else. So heading out and crossing the hall, we find another room with another booby-trapped safe. However, this one has both a terminal and a holotape, password for lockdown computer. Sadly, this is just the password for the computer we've already hacked, and not the one sitting here. Interesting that the password is Vicious Coy. This is likely a reference to Precious Roy, a character from the MTV show Syphil and Ollie that aired between 1997 and 1999. Precious Roy, making lots of suckers out of girls and boys. This reference, I think, becomes much more concrete when we find more evidence later on. After hacking the easy-locked terminal on this desk, all we find is an option to unlock the floor safe. Inside, we find bottle caps and a small amount of scrap. Heading out the door to the east leads us to another hallway with more corpses on the floor. We'll head north down this junction for now. This leads us to a room to the east where we find clear evidence of super mutant habitation. Skeletons and body parts on top of a very long table. Gore bags on the ground and on the table. And at the very end, we find an ammo canister, some scrap, a first aid box, some medics, and a gun. And the explosion knocked the medics off into this junk pile. I'll never find it here. Talk about finding a needle in a haystack. Well, giving up on the medics, we can loot the gore bag, where we find a good stash of ammo and caps, and that's it for this room. So heading out and going back south, we can this time turn east. This leads us to the door to the police headquarters ground floor. On the other side, we arrive at the top of a staircase. Heading down, we have to disarm more frag mines, and we hear a super mutant patrolling.
Hey, need some help with this one?
Heading down the stairs, we can loot the corpse. We arrive in another hallway. We could go east or west. Going east first, we turn north into another large room with terminals. There doesn't appear to be any super mutants here, so standing up, we can pull out our sword and take care of the radroaches. We find 3 functional terminals here. We'll start with the one on the southern table. This is a 911 terminal. Thank you for calling the Germantown 911 call center. What is the nature of your emergency? We find one 911 call log, which was the most recent. Dispatcher: 911, do you have an emergency? Woman: please help me. I think there's someone outside. I heard a noise and it looks like someone is out there. Remain calm. I am sending a squad car over. May I please have your name and address for confirmation? I think he's in the house now. Please send help. Oh my God. I think I hear him. Ma'am, I've dispatched a squad car. It should arrive within minutes. Try. Sorry for the scare. My wife just forgot to take her pills this morning. Everything's okay. No need for that squad car either. Have a nice day. Call terminated by the caller. I suppose we can only hope that the squad car arrived to help that poor woman. We find another option here to sound the station alarm. I thought this would draw out the super mutants or something, but it didn't appear to do anything. Sadly, accessing the terminal again, we don't find an option to turn it off. Oh, and I'm not about to explore this place with this racket going on, so we can reload a previous save before we flip this on. Moving to the northern side, we can explore these other terminals. We'll start with the northeastern one. This also is a 911 terminal. We again find an option to sound the alarm, and we find one more recent 911 call log. Dispatcher: 911, your call is being recorded. What's your emergency? Fire! There's a fire! My house is on fire! Sir, please try to stay calm. I'm gonna connect you with the fire department. Please hurry! Please hurry! Germantown Fire Department, please state your emergency. My house is burning to the ground! Please send help! Just to confirm, your address is 1664 Clem Avenue? Yes, hurry! All right, sir. The trucks have been sent. Is there anyone still in the house? Thank you. No, everyone is safe and on the lawn. I think I hear them now. Thank you. Goodbye. Just try to remain a safe distance away from the house until they get there. Call terminated. Dispatch. And the pre-war American emergency system saves the day, for once. Moving over to the northwestern terminal, we find one more 911 call log. Dispatcher: 911, what is the nature of your emergency? The wings on my shoes shrunk, and now the moths won't eat my kidneys. When I shake my stale capital, it only yields 3 fairy napkins, but how? Could you please repeat that, sir? My banana slippers are like water boats because when the moon winks sometimes, it burns my hamster punches. All right, sir, just remain where you are. I'm sending help. And that's how you get to llama school. Call terminated. Dispatch. Okay. Guess you don't have to be a Vault 106 dweller to go crazy. This is that other, more clear reference to Sifl and Ollie on MTV. In that show, there's an entire song called This Is How You Get to Llama School.
What's your cargo? Are you driving kids?
I'm trying to get these llamas to school.
Are you going to the llama school?
Yeah, how do I get there quick?
I think you take Las Palmas. Take Las Palmas to Colorado. Take Colorado down to Pico. And that's how you get to llama school.
Well, I hope that guy got the help he needed. Heading out the doorway to the west, we arrive in a hallway that connects to another room to the west. Here we find 3 rows of 3 tables each. There's some sort of mail sorter behind us, and lots of empty and ruined desks in the rubble to the north. But if we explore the rubble to the south, we find one ruined school desk upon which is a copy of Lying Congressional Style. Was this Bethesda's attempt at socio-political commentary? We can leave this room through a doorway to the west. We see a blood trail on the ground, and we can move either north or south. While moving south first, we arrive at a T-junction. We'll move left for now. We arrive at another hallway, and we again move left. After killing a radroach on the ground, we see movement in the room to the west.
Someone there!
Dang it!
Not sure why I decided to use my sword there. That took longer than it should have. On his corpse, we find a Chinese assault rifle and the German town jailer's key. So this overlord was the jailer. Oh, but now I've gotten all mixed up here. No idea where I was. Well, turning around, we can pass through this room. At the other end of this hallway is a bathroom. We find one skeleton in the stall, a dose of jet in the broken toilet bowl, and he's clutching a hunting rifle. That's one way to embrace the apocalypse. The blood trail on the floor leads to the men's restroom on the other side of the hall. After killing the radroach inside, we can loot a gore bag on the floor. We see bloody handprints all over the wall, but there's nothing in any of the stalls. So heading out, we can move north down the hallway, and this time take the bend to the west. This completes a big loop, and we're back at that overlord we killed. The room behind him is booby-trapped with a mine behind the counter. After disarming the mine, we see that there's a police station terminal on the counter locked with a very hard lock. After hacking it, we find 2 corrupt data files, but one option to unlock the contraband closet. With that, the door behind us swings open. Heading inside, we find laser weapons and ammunition in the nearby cabinets, and then on the western shelves, we find 2 ammo containers, a variety of other ballistic weapons, including a silenced 10mm pistol. Moving to the south, we find a shelf of ammunition, 10mm rounds, fusion cells, and energy cells. The shelf to the southeast has another ammo box and some railway spikes. And the shelf to the east is the vice shelf, with 3 first aid kits and a variety of chems, buff out, jet, psycho, and even darts lining the shelves. When done looting, we can exit by going out a door to the north. Turning west, we see a locked door back out to the Germantown Police Headquarters. This must be that very hard locked door we saw while exploring outside, the one that was right by the gate that we opened to get behind the police headquarters. We'll leave after we find Red, so to continue, we can follow the trail of blood to the west, and here we can kill more radroaches. And turning around, well, what do you know? There she is. It's Red, locked in a jail cell.
Quick! Unlock the door!
We could pick this, but thankfully we've got the key that we found on the jailer's corpse.
You're rescuing me? Thanks! I thought we were goners for sure. I think the others are dead. Or worse.
Thanks? That's all I get for risking my life to save you? How about some caps?
You think I asked those super mutants to wait until I got all my caps together before abducting me? Don't get me wrong. I'm terribly grateful. I'll gladly give you a reward, but let's get out of here first.
I'm glad you're alive.
Me too. I'm extremely lucky you came along.
I'm glad you're safe. There's a guy named Sticky that wants to see you.
That's right. His birthday was recently. Did he make it to Big Town already? I can't wait to see him.
Is there anyone else?
Everyone else is dead. We're taken away to who knows where. Well, except maybe for Shorty. They dragged him off downstairs to the kitchen a while ago. But no one comes back from the kitchen.
We have 3 options. We can say we shouldn't risk our lives for someone who's probably already dead.
Well, you're right. He's probably already dead. There's a back door somewhere nearby we can use. Let's go to Big Town. You can get a hot meal and I'll tend to any wounds you've taken. Let's go.
Or we can say, you wait right here, I'll go see about Shorty.
I'm not waiting around for some super mutant to lock me up again. There's a back door somewhere around here. If you're not back soon, I'm leaving without you. If I'm not here when you come back, meet me at Big Town.
Or we can invite her to come with us and say, let's go get Shorty. Come with me.
I just slow you down. I'll wait here. If you're not back soon, I'm sneaking out the back door. There's people in town that need me.
Despite what she says there, we immediately find an option to give her a weapon.
I'll take whatever you've got at this point.
And choosing this option gives us access to her inventory without pickpocketing her. And from here, we can loot 2 unique items that only she has. Red's bandana, which is just a red-colored version of the standard bandana. It grants us 1 perception, with a DR of 2. And Red's jumpsuit, which has a measly DR of 2, but it grants us +5 to the small gun skill. These both may be useful earlier on, but at this point in the game, I have no need for them, so I'm just gonna leave them on her inventory. I'll give her that combat shotgun I looted from the shotgun trap and some shells. Now we can either have her wait here, or we can say, come, follow me.
I'll just hope you know what you're doing.
And despite her protestations earlier, she does indeed follow us as a temporary companion. So it looks like we have to go find a guy named Shorty. There's a terminal on a desk right next to the cell, and next to it is a pre-war book. That's 100 caps with Scribe Yearling. We can access the lockdown terminal where we find 2 corrupted entries, and from here we can open the cells. Choosing this option opens the remaining cells in the jail. After killing a rad roach in one, we can explore the cell that was right next to Red. In the toilet we find a dose of Jet, and on the ground behind a bed we find a note with a pencil lying on top of it. The note is called Flying Bananas Can't Talk. 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 They just want you to believe they can. You know, I bet this was written by the guy who called 911. He even mentioned bananas in his mad ravings. Does this mean that instead of getting the guy help, the police just stopped by his house and locked him in jail? That's not a way to treat the mentally ill. Poor guy. There's not much else in any of the other cells. We find a skeleton with a knife and some cherry bombs in a destroyed toilet. With the jail cell clear, we could turn right to head back to Big Town, but to find Shorty, we need to turn around and follow the trail of blood. It takes us west down a hallway, past the room where we found the copy of Lying Congressional Style, past a closet where we find 2 gore bags and some minor scrap, and down a staircase. After looting a gore bag on the way down, we can open the door to the police headquarters basement. We arrive in a hallway on the other side. Through a doorway to the left, we see what appears to be some sort of firing range, but we hear noises coming from the doorway to the right. But we hear more inside. Exploring this room first, we don't see any super mutants, so I'll risk my light. We can loot a gore bag, kill a rad roach, and head into a bathroom/locker room. But both locker rooms are pretty empty. We don't see anything in the stalls, and only minor loot in the lockers. When done exploring the locker room, we can leave out a doorway to the south. This leads us to a dark hallway, and at the end we see a flickering, glowing light coming from a furnace. If we turn off our light and sneak forward, we can overhear a conversation.
You freak! You're going to eat me, aren't you?
Hungry.
There's plenty of body parts laying around. Why don't you eat those instead?
Not fresh. Not warm. Taste old.
I hope you choke on my bones.
Not your tiny bones, little man.
Who are you calling little?
Shut up now!
Oh, God. Kill me quickly, I beg you.
Time to die!
I suppose the mutant is supposed to be attacking Shorty now? However, no matter how many times I replayed this, he never actually opened fire. He just sort of backed up into this corner. But we could still kill him.
Bang it!
Looks like a rad roach was nibbling on Shorty. Thankfully, Dogmeat and Sharon took care of him. We find Shorty wounded but still alive, kneeling on the floor spattered with his own blood and surrounded by a host of other human skeletons.
Come on, you've got to untie me.
What makes you think I'm here to rescue you?
That isn't funny. We've got to get out of here before the super mutants come back to have me for lunch.
Sorry, I'm not here to rescue you. In fact, I've got to get going.
You can't just leave me here. They're going to eat me.
Hold on, short stuff. Who are you, and what are you doing here?
What does it look like? The super mutants raided Big Town and dragged me off here. I'm sure they're about to eat me. You can't just leave me here.
All right, come on. Let's get out of here.
All right, move it.
With that, we gain karma, and like we found with Red, we find an option to give this guy some weapons.
Hell yeah! Lay it on me.
go ahead and give him a laser pistol I picked up and some ammunition. Come on, follow me, Shorty.
Right. Let's go.
After looting a gore bag on the kitchen counter, we can examine the devastation here. Bodies on the counter, bodies on the floor, bodies piled in the corner, surrounded by blood. And in the refrigerators, we find iguana bits. And we know exactly what iguana bits are in my video on iguana bits that you can watch here. And turning around, we find a series of tables covered in fresh gore. Human chunks, entrails, and more gore bags. Behind us is a burning furnace. And what were they using this for? They eat their humans raw. Perhaps to dispose of the bodies? And turning west, we find a supply closet where we killed that super mutant. Here we find a variety of containers to loot. Another copy of the jailer key on this mutant. Some more gore bags, and turning around, we find a Nuka-Cola Quantum on the ground by a box. But that appears to be it for this wing of the basement. So turning around, we can head back out, whereupon Red expresses her joy at seeing Shorty still alive.
Glad to see you're alive, Shorty.
Me too. Now let's get the hell out of here.
Heading all the way back to the staircase, instead of going up, we can turn east to explore this firing range that we passed earlier. There's an ammo box on the table next to us with another wall-mounted first aid kit and some guns and ammo in the gun case. We see that the super mutants were firing at gore bags and corpses hanging from the ceiling. Oh, what a grisly sight. But we'll see if there's anything of value in there. To head to the range, we pass through a northern doorway to go down a hallway. But to the left, we find an average locked door. After picking it, we find a bit of an armory. To the left, 2 ammo boxes on some shelves with some railway spikes, an assault rifle and ammunition in a gun cabinet, a fat man on the ground. Sweet, I'll take that. And on the shelf to the right, another ammo canister and a copy of Tumblers Today. After looting the armory, we can head out down the hallway and into the firing range. There are lots of skeletons on the ground, gore, entrails, and blood spatter. And if we listen closely, we can hear the dripping. But all there is to loot here are the gore bags, and most of them have a decent stash of loot. When done, we can finally leave this grisly scene, go out the door to the west, up the stairs, following the trail of blood down the hallway, turning right to the west, and then out the door, which is not locked from this side, to Germantown. We now have to escort Red and Shorty back to Big Town without having them die. Now, if we walk all the way back to Big Town, this can be a bit tricky. We pass a church and a few random encounter hotspots that could lead to both of them dying pretty quickly, especially if we're already a really high level when we start to do this quest, because neither Red nor Shorty level with the Lone Wanderer. But many of the enemies do. So it may be a better idea to fast travel to Big Town. But if we walk there, once we get close to the bridge, both Red and Shorty race inside. And Red immediately takes command.
Shorty, I want to gather everyone together soon about setting up the barricades higher. I'd really appreciate your, expertise.
You're damn right you do. Because I'm the only one who can really keep this town safe.
I don't get that. Is she trying to insinuate that he would be better at building walls because he is short? Why? At any rate, they race to the middle of the town, and the townsfolk gather around to cheer.
Our heroine returns!
Don't I count for something? She rescued me, at least.
I'm glad to be safely back home.
You are planning on giving me a reward for rescuing you, right?
Right, of course. Rescuing me was a job to you, and you're a real professional. Well, here you go. I wish I had more I could give you.
With that, she gives us 300 bottle caps, but we can pass a speech check to say, I saved your life and this is all I get? Surely you can spare a little more.
Well, I guess you can have this. It's the money I was saving to buy medicine for the town's people.
And she gives us 200 caps, but we lose karma. But even after receiving the caps, we find an option to say, here, take the money back. I don't want to take medicine away from the town.
Oh, thank you.
We lose the caps, but we gain our karma back. Or instead of asking for money right away, we can instead say, I'm glad you're safe and sound. And please, I don't want any kind of reward.
Thank you. You're a real hero, you know that? I was going to offer you a reward, but I can put the caps to use buying medicine and supplies.
We miss out on the 300 caps, but we gain karma. Don't thank me. I got what I wanted out of it.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you anyway.
Or we can say, it was my pleasure.
Thanks. I know you've already risked your life once already, but I heard the mutants talking about another attack. They'll probably be here soon.
With that, we finish Big Trouble in Big Town, but it looks like they still want our help. Well, we could say, forget this. It's the law of the wasteland. Survival of the fittest. You're on your own. Good luck.
Fine. You've done enough already. I get it. We'll figure something out on our own.
With that, Red and Shorty turn around and reintegrate into society. Now, I read that if we choose this option, sometime later if we are to return to this town, we find it empty, with only one super mutant walking around in the middle of the town. And then sometime after that, we bump into a scavenger who says that he's heading to Big Town to scavenge for resources after it was razed to the ground by super mutants. If, after finding that scavenger, we come to Big Town, we find all of their bodies lying on the ground. The scavenger is there scavenging, but the rest of the town is wiped out. I spent hours trying to get this random encounter, but I never got it. But I did get another one, which I'll show you soon. Another option is to say, I'll stick around and kill the super mutants. They should leave you alone after that.
Really? That's great! I'll let everyone know. You're a real hero, you know that?
In which case, we promptly get attacked by super mutants, and we can defeat them, but we don't give these villagers any of the information they need to defend themselves after we leave. This continues to leave them prone to super mutant and slaver attacks. So instead, we can say, I can help you defend yourself.
Really? That's great. What do you have in mind?
We can teach them one of many types of knowledge. I'll go through them all. We can start by passing a sneak check to say, I'll teach you how to sneak and hide. They'll think you deserted the town.
Great! I'll round everyone up. You show us how to hide and sneak.
With that, the villagers congregate around us.
Well, Hotshot, are you going to teach us something or just stand there looking stupid?
To teach them how to sneak, we just crouch.
I'm watching. Go on. Teach us what to do.
After our little town-wide crouching dance, they walk off. Apparently that's all they needed to know about how to sneak. The villagers then walk off and talk amongst themselves for a while. But shortly thereafter, Dusty comes racing into town.
Muties! The muties are coming!
The villagers scatter in all directions, immediately putting to use the sneaking skills we just taught them. Following suit, we can hide behind a wall, and looking off towards the bridge, sure enough, we see two super mutants approach. They begin to walk into town. Now, they don't travel far into the town, so we could simply walk into the back street to avoid them completely or hide in one of the buildings. But I wanted to overhear them as they walked around, so popping a stealth boy, we can get as close to the road as we can. Soon, they walk by.
Don't be shy. Who's it going to be this time? The time has come. Don't you want to be like us? Where are they? Don't know. They're gone. Scared. They run off. Now what? Find another village. Take those people. Brrr, fine. Somewhere else. Come on. Let's go.
And only by choosing this option do we finally learn what the super mutants are doing with these people they abduct. Yes, they eat some of them, but when the mutant said, "Don't you want to be like us?" this reminds us of Lou from Fallout 1. He was rounding up humans to dunk in vats of FEV to turn people into super mutants like him. Could these Capital Wasteland mutants be kidnapping people to make more mutants? After they leave, we complete the quest, and everyone races into town to celebrate.
We did it!
Take that, muties!
I didn't think that'd work!
You mean we're still alive?
Yeah, baby! Hooray!
Die!
Our next option is to pass an explosives check to say you could set up a minefield to keep super mutants from just strolling in.
That's a great idea. I'll get everyone together. You show us how, and we'll plant mines at the bridge into town.
And just like last time the town congregates,
You do actually know how to plant mines, right?
She gives us one frag mine. Equipping it, we can stroll down the bridge and plant it.
Oh, now be careful with that thing.
Then the entire town starts pulling out frag mines and throwing them everywhere.
Everybody be careful.
I bet I could walk through here just fine.
Blair, she's coming to tell us she failed.
Ooh, be careful.
I bet I could walk through here just fine.
Am I the only one who thinks this is stupid? Am I doing this right?
Baby, you explosions are fun. I can't wait. I bet my mine makes the biggest explosion of all.
So yeah. Yeah, this is not a very viable option. Way too many bugs associated with this. The mines that the villagers place down can be triggered by companions who are stupid and will trigger them, and they can be triggered by the other villagers who are equally as stupid. So this option ends up just killing everyone. And when the mutants arrive, some of the villagers like Red just forget about the fact that they lined the bridge with mines and race down it to start firing. Which of course leads to them all dying. But despite the casualties, if we help them kill the muties, they still erupt in applause and celebration.
Yeah, baby!
Die! Die!
The next option is to pass a science check to say, you should have some robot defenders. I can show you what to do with them.
Great. Let's head over to the junkyard. There's some old robots in there. Maybe you can fix them up and we'll watch to see how it's done.
The robots are over in the junkyard, in case you're wondering.
Heading on over to the junkyard that we saw in yesterday's episode, we find the remains of a sentry bot and a Protectron lying amongst the wrecked cars. We now find an option to repair one of the robots. After he is repaired, we can repair the Protectron. And everyone races back into town. The sentry bot begins his patrol, but the Protectron, I found, got caught up on the geometry of the town. And shortly thereafter, the town gets attacked by mutants.
Where? Status. Analysis. Target. Hostiles neutralized. Recommend immediate repairs to primary systems to ensure continued operation.
There he is. Welcome to the fight, buddy. But unlike with the last one, we get attacked by another wave.
What's the matter, huh?
Where? Defenders of Italy.
I like this one the best because the town gets 2 new guards, helping to make the town feel that much more alive. But another option is to pass a small guns check to say if you can arm yourselves, I can teach you how to shoot.
Great. I'll round everyone up at the junkyard for shooting practice.
Heading over to the junkyard, we find a bit of a shooting range erected.
We're all watching you waiting to learn something. Well, get on with it already.
Now, sadly, I didn't have any ballistic weapons on my inventory, so I pulled out a laser rifle to try and show them how to shoot, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't knock over any of the bottles. But it didn't seem to matter. After I took a few pot shots, the townsfolk all pulled out their weapons, which they now magically have, and began to knock over the bottles, pots, and cans.
Dead meat now.
Having fun.
I like guns. Did you see that? Did you see it? I'm a sharpshooting gunslinger.
After a while, they all race into town with their guns drawn, and Dusty calls the alarm.
Muties! They're coming!
Sure enough, mutants appear at the bridge, but this time the entire town races forward and defends themselves.
We can do this.
With me.
And like with the last one, this one also has 2 ways.
Not this time, muties. Bring it.
Let's kill him. What's the matter, huh? Can't stand the sight of your own blood?
Yeah.
problem with this one is that for it to work, everyone races towards the bridge with their guns drawn, which makes them easy prey for frag grenades, which the mutants will throw. So Red died in this example. But either way, the townsfolk cheer.
I didn't think that'd work!
Yeah, baby.
Die.
Hooray!
I hate it here.
I chose to go with the robot version. I figured it was safer overall for the townsfolk, and I just like seeing these robots walking around. No matter which version we choose to train the townsfolk to defend themselves, once we fight off or avoid the super mutants, they all have something to say.
All right! Yeah! We sure showed those mutants, didn't we? I showed you my new gun already, didn't I?
We got those mutants good, didn't we?
Shorty was stuck in Germantown when we came through here earlier, so we can now go through his dialogue tree. Hey Shorty, do you know how Big Town got started?
From the look of things, I'd say a super mutant sat down in a ditch one day and shat out this town. I dragged myself here from Lamplight. I didn't believe all the stories about Big Town, but I wasn't about to let everyone else go there without me. A few dozen attacks on the town later, and here I am. Almost an ingredient in a super mutant chili cook-off. Go kick some ass.
I got a lot to thank you for. I don't know how to do it. Here, take this. It's always given me good luck.
And with that, Time Bomb gives us the Lucky 8 Ball. The Lucky 8 Ball improves our luck by 1, but it only works when we carry it in our inventory. It appears as a miscellaneous item in our inventory, but thankfully the rocket launcher doesn't use it as ammunition, so we don't have to worry about accidentally losing it. It gives us +1 to luck, but no more than 10, so we sadly can't use it to get 11 luck. But it's a wonderful little item because it's fairly easy to get, and we can use it to save a special point when creating our characters while still getting some luck-based perks. I gotta go now, Time Bomb.
I like you.
Aw, isn't that sweet?
I got to admit, I didn't think you were one of the good ones, but what the hell? Thanks! Things might not be so bad after all. Who am I kidding? There's still plenty of things out there that want to kill us. At least I didn't die today. I got you to thank for that, so thanks.
I gotta go now, Pappy.
Have a crappy... what the hell. Have a good one.
Even Pappy is cheery. Well, what do you know?
I'm starting to feel safe for the first time in a long time. Thanks to you.
We can find Red in her clinic.
We did it! You did it! You helped us defeat the mutants! Oh, we'll all feel safer now. Thank you so much.
And now that she's in town, we can ask her all of the same questions we've asked of the other residents. Did you know that Flash used to date Bittercup?
Oh, that. I know all about that nonsense. Flash isn't the smartest cookie in the jar, but he deserved better than Bittercup. She wouldn't be so bad if she just faced reality instead of doing that whole spooky girl routine.
You're a doctor, right? I could use some help.
Sure, I could patch you up. Nothing too serious. I don't work for free, though. Let's say 75 caps.
However, if we cure Time Bomb, this is free.
Wow. I can't believe that you were able to help Time Bomb. In here, I was sure that you were ready to just let him die. I guess I had you wrong. He still can't fight, but if we survive for a bit longer, he should be back into it soon enough. Look, you're a better doc than me. That's pretty obvious. But if you need healing, I'll do it for you, no charge.
And at last, we finally find a merchant in this town. I need medical supplies, Red.
Sure, here's what I can spare.
She has a small selection of chems and a whole bunch of stim packs. She does carry a key we can use to open the first aid kit we found in her clinic yesterday, but we can only get it by killing her. We can't pickpocket it. Give me a history of this place, Red.
Big Town? A fairy tale, really. The Lamplighters who turn 16 aren't allowed to stay in the caves, but they have to go somewhere. And to encourage people to leave, they invented Big Town, the great grown-up place that you got to go to when you became an adult. I think you can see how true those stories were.
I gotta go now.
Thanks again for saving my life at the police station.
Heading into Bittercup's lair.
I think I'm going to build a little shrine to you. All I need is some incense sticks and candles.
Of course she is. As long as she doesn't start making effigies, I guess that's okay. And finally, we can track down Sticky.
I was starting to think that Big Town wasn't a very good place to live. But now I think we can do it. Thanks to you.
Well, good. Sounds like everything has worked out. We can now head out of town and say goodbye to the sentry bot.
Have a nice day.
Sometime later, we have a chance to stumble upon a scavenger.
I'm headed to Big Town. There's good money to be made there. They ordered a bunch of robot parts.
Robot parts? I could use some of those myself.
All right, sure. Why not? Plenty to go around. If you got the caps, that is.
He acts as a merchant, and he sells us a bunch of junk and scrap, and then he and his Yao Guai pet head off towards Big Town. If we head that way ourselves, we find the scavenger wandering around town. He has the exact same dialogue, but he functions as another merchant, and he sticks around forever. So in this way, we can get 2 functional merchants in Big Town. Now this scavenger random encounter is a little different depending on the choices we made when teaching the residents how to defend themselves. If we chose the sneak option, instead of talking about robot parts, he says that he's headed to Big Town with a shipment of stealth boys. If we chose the small guns option, he says that it's a great place to sell ammo. If we chose the explosives option, he says he's heading to Big Town to sell mines and explosives. As I said earlier, if we choose to abandon the town, then all the townspeople die or are abducted. We'll still find this random encounter, and he still goes to Big Town, but instead he says that he's heading there to scavenge for scrap. I sadly wasn't able to get this one to trigger though. With that, we rescue Red and Shorty and help out the people at Big Town, hopefully giving them the information they need to become a prosperous settlement. But we still have a job to do. We dealt with the super mutants, but the Big Town residents told us that they were also harassed by slavers. Slavers coming from a place called Paradise Falls, and it just so happens that Mayor McCready wants us to go to Paradise Falls to rescue some children who were kidnapped by slavers. Our task now is to track down this Paradise Falls and infiltrate their society to learn what we can and then rescue the children. We'll tackle that job in my next video. I publish new Fallout content each and every week, so if you want to make sure you don't miss my next episode in this series, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. I've got a brand new shirt in the shop. Who's a good boy? That's right, it's everyone's favorite German Shepherd on shirts in a variety of both men's and women's sizes and in a wide array of colors. I've gotten a lot of messages from people wanting these shirts in children's sizes, and I'm currently working on seeing if we can get that done. So stay tuned, I'll let you know in my videos once that's complete. The designs come in a bunch of other products as well, smartphone cases, pillows, posters, prints, mugs, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, where you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with our invasion of Paradise Falls.